Happy New Year and welcome to the bar. I realise I've been a little quiet at the bar over the last few months, so I thought I'd drop in with a New Year's Eve special. This episode's going to be split into two parts. First, one of my usual reviews, we'll get to in a second, and then secondly, a discussion a bit more about where the podcast is going in the future, as this virtual bar is kind of a pet project of mine. But don't worry, we're not going anywhere. More details later. So, first up, time to pop that cork and try some Nosecco. Now to taste it. Like with a lot of low alcohol drinks, there is a slight over-sweetness. It's not quite as dry as champagne or even as a dry Prosecco. It doesn't also have that kind of medium sweet you'd expect from a sweeter Prosecco. In fact, it's almost Schiller-like. Interesting because Schiller, of course, is a soft drink that is often used as a substitute for wine. It's a fizzy white, red or rosé grape juice. This does look a bit more like Prosecco in the glass, very realistic. However, despite its Moorishness, but it is as good a replacement. I suppose it is slightly more adult, despite Schiller being used as the adult soft drink. You can't see me doing the air quotes there, but I'm sure you catch my meaning. Continues to bubble long after Schiller would probably have finished, with the small bubbles that are more indicative of champagne or Prosecco, so I suppose, once again, it's a very good facsimile. I'm unsure if I would drink it when there are better alternatives that are non-alcoholic. Now, perhaps the thing I need to try with this, check out Instagram for more, as I will give that a go tomorrow with leftovers, is try and make some kind of cocktail and see if that affects the balance, a bit like with the sangria episode at the start of the year. Either way, I think it's fair to say that I'd rather have something designed for its purpose. It slightly reminds me of when the first low-alcohol beers came out. They didn't really taste like beer. There was something slightly off about them. But as the technology has improved, there have been more unique alcohol-free beers and even very good alcohol-free versions of existing beers where they maintain the taste. There's always something slightly different without that slight sourness that comes from the alcohol content. I think somehow they've just slightly missed the balance here. Either way, you can find it in UK supermarkets and give it a go if you're interested. Though, I think personally I'd rather opt for another bottle of Schiller. As I noted up front, I think things might be changing up a bit. I'm trying to record more frequently, and it's not just putting on this voice that makes it difficult. This is my third episode this year, and I had hoped to do more. The interview with Spirity Cocktails very much fit with my alcohol-free theme for the season, and took longer to record and longer to edit than I would have liked. I am open to such things in the future, but I think it's very much going to have to be a special and not mid-season. And as I say, this is a hobby podcast. It's something I do because I enjoy it. I enjoy overly producing an episode of this. Not only is it background music, but I would say it probably takes 10 times the length of the final episode in editing time at the very least. It isn't like when I started a podcast that I can just bash out of an evening once I've made a quick cocktail. There's now research into the individual alcohols and cocktails, writing time, and I find less and less time for that. So I think there might be a bit more of a mix this year, a mixture of reviews, a bit like this one, where I try something. I'm going to continue trying low alcohol things because they intrigue me. I sometimes have to drive places, and in so doing, it's nice to have an option, an alternative. There's still a certain amount of peer pressure to drink alcoholic drinks at certain situations, which you shouldn't do when you're driving. And so having alcohol-free options definitely is not only is it a good thing from a safety point of view, but I think it starts to normalize that you don't always have to have an alcoholic drink when you're out and about, especially not in a situation where it might endanger yourself or others. So I think I'm going to be playing with those and hopefully playing with cocktails based on those. I still have a few things I haven't released in this year's podcast that I purchased when I bought a few alcohol-free options. I haven't alcohol-free gin that I will try neat and review and then see how that stands up in a variety of cocktails. And hopefully that means a few more frequent episodes. And then alongside, I will still continue to have the longer form episodes where I take a deep dive into a particular spirit. So I have a new reading material with which to give myself maybe some more in-depth information. I try to use multiple sources, and as you will note is a general theme throughout my episodes, the reason that cocktails are so named is often lost to the vagaries of time, and we have to make certain assumptions. There are guesses. Various barmen claim that they invented such a thing. It's always a bit murky, and especially the further back we go when these things were certainly less documented. But I hope I can still produce several kind of histories this year to make up for the ones that were missing. I think it's going to be a split between a mixture of reviews and a mixture of cocktail histories and spirit histories, as I've been doing in the last season. I'm not sure I'll increment the season number this time. We'll see. I'm not sure how much that matters to people. It does tend to send a signal that I'm changing up what the season's going to be like. But, if you have any strong opinions about it, feel free to reach out to me at Dr_Wilko on Twitter, where we still have the mocktail season banner up. Thank you very much to Alice Jones, who provided that art. A friend of mine who does amazing illustration work. Seek out her stuff, buy her things on Redbubble. There will be a link in the description. This has been a bit of a ramble, and much like with many of my scripts, I'm not exactly sure how to end it. I normally come up with some kind of joke that's, I suppose, slightly related to this topic. I'm not sure I'm going to do that today, but I think from everyone here at the bar, I wish you a very happy new year, and let's hope that we can make it to real bars more often in 2022. Fingers crossed. Goodbye. Dr. Wilko's Campaign for Better Beverages is a production of Tinker Tailor Soldier Sponge Productions. It was researched, written and produced by Dr. Wilko. The mocktails were mixed and drunk by Dr. Wilko. The music was George Street Shuffle, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3 by Kevin MacLeod of Incompetech.com. You can support this podcast on Patreon via the show notes and the website, drwilko.org/Patreon.